Yeah, they're annoying.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Hayes here, and for tip number 1, we will be getting into learning the maps and extractions. However, we're not going to be walking you through the maps and the extractions, but I will be leaving links down below to each individual map, the callouts for the maps, and then the extraction areas that you can correlate the maps with what you see in front of you in game. I do suggest playing offline mode if you're new to the game to learn these maps and whatnot, or at least 1 or 2 maps to start with, and then from there go forward and you'll confidently play the maps online, at least know where to go for the extractions and not get stuck in the middle of a raid and not know what you're doing. So hopefully all these tips will help you out in escaping from Tarkov, and with that, let's get on to number 2. So number 2 being meds and health. The first thing we're going to get into here is blood pressure and fresh wounds. If you have a fresh wound, it can open back up, and the determining factor is whether or not you're running. If you're running, your heart's pumping more blood, and what that's going to do is open up your wound again. So make sure you just kind of chill out, take it slow, slow down your gameplay a little bit, and give yourself some time to recover from that wound. The next thing we're going to get into is when you fracture your limb. When you fracture your limb, you're going to be slowed. It's going to be really hard to move. You're going to have basically no mobility, and this might screw you over in a lot of different fights. So the remedy to this, there's 4 different things. You can use a splint, you can use a grizzly, you can use painkillers, or you can use morphine. There's also Vaseline, but that's so gives you such a limited time. Don't waste your time with it. Painkillers and morphine, 2 of the best things to keep you up and going and moving. If you need to just get up and go, then grizzly will repair the actual fracture, and so will splints. But the painkillers and morphine just allows you to get back on your feet, give your movement back for a short amount of time, which is like 5 to 10 minutes, and keep you going. We'll get back to this later on in the video, but your legs are your life, so make sure you're protecting them and keeping them behind hard objects that can't be shot throughout your game time. Next thing we're going to talk about is foods and metabolism, and also some of the skills, but mainly food. This is something that I like to stress to the viewers of my stream is eat everything you find. There's nothing wrong with eating everything you find and getting the highest metabolism possible. Right now, the skills in game have a decreasing over time effect, so as you don't use certain skills, your skills will actually be decreasing over time, and that rate slows down the higher metabolism you have. So eating everything just benefits you in the long run. Skills like strength, where it's going to be more beneficial to have higher strength so you can jump higher and get up to hard to get areas, or jump over walls a lot easier. There's a lot of shortcuts in the map, things like that. Learning the maps offline, like we were mentioning earlier, is going to benefit you majorly, and the strength will also help you with those hard to get spots, or hard to get little tips and tricks in certain maps. So with strength you level up by jumping, running, by holding heavier weight on your character, so things like a helmet, Paka armor, additional weapons, a full backpack, fortress armor. All these things will level up your strength, including throwing grenades, and it affects how far you throw a grenade. If you have higher strength, you're obviously going to be able to throw it further. So all these things go into factor, so just keep it in mind, and also keep in mind that the map you play is going to affect this, because factory, where you're not running as much, you might not be getting as much strength, but let's say your health and your vitality might be going up because you'll be getting hit a lot more often, way more commonly, and constantly going back into raids. Here we go, guys. Now the juicy part, right? Looting. Now, most of the time we get our loot, me personally, from cold, dead bodies, as we like to call it. But every once in a while, you'll be able to get loot inside of the map as well, such as this gun spawn here, which is a really nice AKN from what we like to call blue car spawn on the customs map. But backpacks are also a great place to loot. You know, dead scavs. Scavs are, I think, in my opinion, one of the largest loot tables for every player all around. Like right here, we see a grizzly in a backpack. Like that's, you know, a really, really good medical equipment from early on in the game. But as you know, tend to go later into the game, the end game, and you have all these different traders leveled up, it's not as vital. But just for the new people who are starting up and looking to, you know, obtain loot, definitely keep that in mind. Backpacks are very valuable. If you ever find a factory key, you need to put this thing in your gamma case right away and just keep it forever. It is gold, okay? So keep it. Here's another really good loot tip, that if you're searching boxes and whatnot and there happens to be attachments for the weapon that you're carrying, you can actually, you know, save some space by putting attachments onto your weapon right then and there, dragging it onto your weapon in the raid. The other really good thing to do is when you're looting, you can loot a body really fast, and as you'll see here in a second on the bottom right hand corner, it actually gives you, oh look, some looting experience. So you don't even have to loot the body fully. All you really have to do is just go over his body real quick and loot it and then get out. Right now I'm going over the fact that like discarding a grizzly is more valuable in my opinion, because you can keep the helmet, right? So let's say you kill a geared player, and then now you're taking his helmet, and you're like, wow, man, this is my helmet now. But you get killed, and you happen to have the helmet in the backpack instead of the grizzly. Your helmet in your gamma case guarantees you to have that. Your grizzly is expendable, so just keep it in mind. Moving on to gun animations, absolute gun porn, and it's the best it's gonna get. As we see here, we're looking at a teammate of mine doing a switch from a 45-degree angle back to his scope, and then now he's checking his chamber. He'll check his mag in a second, and then he's gonna be changing the fire mode, which you can see his thumb like actually go and hit that lever to go at a I believe it's vertical for a semi-auto and horizontal for a full auto, and you'll see it here again. So semi-auto, full auto, and this is in first person, right? And you can see your thumb push the lever up and down, the fire mode selector, horizontal for full auto and vertical for semi-auto. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. The other things in the game, the modding system is so crazy that like it even comes down to like the light that you see, the laser on top of my weapon. You can switch between the laser and the light, or having both on at the same time. It's crazy. Here you're gonna see me flip on and off the fire mode for the AK, and if you pay attention, a heavy tilt to the left means that it's a full auto AK, and a very light tilt means that it's semi-auto. So if you pay attention to the tilt, you won't actually have to check your fire mode. Unlike the M4, you can just hit your scroll wheel button is like a free look. So if you look straight down with the M4, you can see the fire mode right there. With the AK, it's a little bit harder. You're gonna need to hold Alt and B, and then it'll check your fire mode, but it'll turn your gun all the way on its right left hand side, so you see the right side of the weapon. Since the fire mode is on the opposite side, it's on the right side of your weapon, unlike the M4, which is on your left side. But like I said, if you pay attention to the tilt, you do not have to use Alt B feature to check your fire mode. You can just pay attention to the tilt and you'll know whether it's semi-auto or full auto. Here you're going to see you have the ability for a lot of the reflex sights in game to just change your reticule. Really good feature, especially if you're looking up at the skyline. Sometimes it's easier to see with a different reticule. And here we're just changing between, like I was saying earlier with the attachments, you can change between, your flashlight, your laser, and then also have both of them on at the same time. So there's a third person view, and you saw me doing it just a second there. But there's the laser. Looks really nice. So this last bit I kind of really wanted to talk about because it's really important. This is called a tactical reload. This is when you double tap R instead of just hitting R once. You will actually drop your magazine on the ground. Now it's both crippling but also very important to have as a feature, because you have the choice. Let's say you've already killed 2 people, but your mag is empty and they have a third buddy. You can hear him coming around the corner and you don't have enough time to just reload your weapon. So tactically reloading is the most beneficial thing that you can do. You're gonna double tap your R button, make sure that that mag is on the ground, your second mag is already loaded with 60 rounds, and you're ready for a really good fight or a last stand. So make sure that you guys tune in to part 2 of this video. This is only the first tips and tricks video. We'll have part 2 coming soon, and then after that, advanced tips and tricks. Thank you guys for all the mad support, man. It's been amazing. The stream has been awesome. You know, everybody's been so supportive of everything that I'm doing. We will be back. This is only part 1. We will be doing part 2 for more beginner tips and tricks to surviving Tarkov. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a comment. You know, constructive criticism is more than welcome. Thank you guys again for all the mad support. If you guys have any other questions or tips or concerns, anything like that, just come on into our Discord. The link will be down below. And remember to go down below to also check out the link for the maps, to learn the maps, the callouts, things like that. Especially if you're playing with a group, callouts are like #1 thing for when you're actually starting up the game and learning how to play Tarkov. You really want to have all of the voice communications figured out, and the call out maps will help you immensely with that. So thank you guys again. Till next time, take care.